All right, welcome everybody. Listen up, listen up. This is gonna be a video. Well, you probably already know based off the title, but a video about credit cards and my experience with credit cards. Um, I'm not sure if I need a disclaimer for this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say one. This is just my experiment or my experience with these cards. And I'm just talking about the cards that I think would be good. And this is not advice, financial advice, and do not go and do something stupid and blame it on me and try and sue me or anything like that. I don't have enough money, so don't blame me for anything like that. Yeah, there's your disclaimer. Now don't go do something stupid. All right, now that that's said, let's talk about the credit system and how it works. Now, you may know some of this, you may not. But I'm just going to cover all of it just in case. It's a good review, even if you know it already. And if there's anybody that doesn't know, then they'll have an idea about this stuff now. Now, first of all, you'll need some kind of credit card generally in order to start your credit card journey. But there's also some other methods that I'll talk about later. You'll get eventually, once you get a credit card and you start building credit, you'll get something called a credit score. There are three main credit bureaus that, or at least in the United States, there's three main ones. They're Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. They give you a credit score and, that's your score. It gives you deals and stuff, I guess, and lets you get better rates whenever you're buying a house and get better deals on credit cards with different types of cashback. There's a bunch of different benefits. It also helps whenever you're buying a car, anything where you're going to need money, you're going to need a credit score. Any big purchases pretty much. And those three credit bureaus will determine your score based off a couple of factors. First of all, the total number of accounts that you have. Generally, more accounts is better. They want to see that you can manage a bunch of different types of accounts. So loans, like traditional loans, house loans, car loans, student loans, credit cards, all those things will come together to create a better, more rounded credit profile. And the more accounts, the more your people loaning you money will trust you. So generally, you want to have higher accounts, but of course, starting off, you won't be able to do that. But over time, you'll get more and more. Also, your average account age or length of credit. That's another way that they say it. It's generally just an average of your accounts, how long you've had them. It is. So let's say you had an account for 2 years, 2 whole years, and then you got a brand new credit card. Well, that would drop your credit age to 1 year. So it cut it in half. It takes the average of your ages. So if you had like two-year credit cards and you just got a brand new card, then it'd be like, I don't know, 1.5 or something like that. Basically, it's just an average of your account age. It's simple as that. And obviously, you want this to be as long, or you want to have as high of an age as possible, so that way people can be like, wow, you've managed all these accounts for so long. That's so impressive. Good job. Here's money. At least that's ideally what they would do. All right, the next thing that they're going to check for is your inquiries. Now, there's two types of inquiries. There's soft inquiries and hard inquiries. The soft ones are the ones that if you use a service like Credit Karma, it'll let you check what your credit score is each month. And a hard inquiry is whenever you're applying for a loan or credit card. They actually need to see and make sure all the information is correct. So they'll do a hard inquiry, and that will give you a penalty. Now, these penalties aren't too bad. Generally, they stay on your credit report for 2 years, but they won't actually affect your score after a year. The reason these bureaus and institutions worry about inquiries is because if you're asking for a bunch of, or like you're getting a bunch of hard inquiries, it's basically meaning that you're trying to get a bunch of loans or a bunch of lines of credit, trying to maximize and get as much money as possible. So they're like, this guy, he might be trying to scam us, you know? He's just trying to get all this loan money and then go to Mexico or something. So let's not trust this guy. So generally, you want to keep your inquiries as low as possible, and the only way to do that is by only applying to loans and credit cards that you think you'll be that you think you need and think that you're qualified in order to get. The next category is going to be revolving utilization. Now, this is pretty simple. It's just take the overall amount of credit that you're allowed. Say it's like $100. If you spend $10 of that credit limit, then that would be a 10% utilization. And generally, you want to stay around 15% or below 15%. But you know, I usually just keep it below 10%. And it's easier the more credit you're allowed, because a bigger number, smaller utilization generally, because your purchases don't scale with the amount of credit that you get, or at least that's been my experience. So I have like a decent amount of credit limit, and I'm able to easily stay under 10% all the time. But you generally should be able to do 2 as well. And the last category would be missed payments. Now, you start off with 0, so you just gotta make sure that doesn't change. You want to stay as low as possible. Make sure that you stay at 0. Do not miss any payments. All right? Simple as that. Do not miss any payments. Pay on time. Now, there's really 2 options whenever you're trying to start off with credit. First of all, you'll either get a credit card, or you'll want to become an authorized user on like a family member or somebody that you really trust account. Now, what's an authorized user, you may ask? That is just, you basically inherit their credit. So if they've had a credit card for 7 years and they've made all their payments on time and everything's good, then you'll just inherit all of that. It's a very good way to start off if you can, but most people don't have that option. Option 2, and the option that you're probably going to go with, is the secured card. Now, a secured card is just a card that you make a payment on, it's basically just a normal credit card, but you have to have a deposit. And the ones that I would recommend is either go for the Discover secured card or the Capital One secured card. You know, I've had good experiences with Discover and Capital One. Capital One is the one that I personally went with, but generally it doesn't matter. Most secured cards don't have any cash back. They don't have anything special. They're just a way to build credit. So get whatever you really want. Just probably pick a reputable brand. But there you go. You'll make a deposit. It'd probably be around $200, and you'll get a 500 credit limit or so. And that will be it for about 6 months. You need to wait about 6 months generally in order to have enough history to actually get a credit score. And once you get that, I would say try and get the Discover student card if you're a student. It is a very good card. There's the Discover It Student Chrome card, and then there's the Discover Student Cashback card. Both are very good. The Chrome card gives you 2% cashback at gas stations and restaurants, and the Student Cashback card gives you a 5% rotating cashback, which is on various categories. It's restaurants, it's gas stations, it's grocery stores. Generally it's those three things, but I think sometimes it's also like online services or something like that. It can be a bunch of random stuff. Either one can be really good depending on who you are and what you do. I personally went with the constant 2% at gas stations and restaurants of the Chrome card because most of my spending is on gas versus like restaurants and grocery stores. So that was what was best for me. What's best for you might be different, but pick whichever one you feel would be best for you. And then I would just go ahead and wait for another 6 months. Wait for those inquiries to go away. Wait for everything to calm down. Build a little bit more credit, and try and get around 690 to 700. That's what I would recommend before you start applying to more cards. But once you're ready to do that, once you get past 700, once you get to 690 or 700, I would recommend, or not recommend. I'm not recommending anything. What? This is not advice. This is not financial advice. Do not get me in trouble. But the cards that I like are the Capital One Quicksilver and the Citi Double Cash card. Those are both very good. Capital One Quicksilver card is 1.5% on all purchases, and the Citi Double Cash card is 2% on all purchases. It's just very standard, and it's very good. 2% cashback and 1.5% cashback on everything. I mean, come on. That sounds good to me. And there's also the Amazon Prime card. That's another one that I recommend that you get. It's a very good card. Generally, it has a like a bonus. It can range. Sometimes it's like 100, sometimes it's 200, just for signing up for the card and getting approved for it. It's a pretty good deal. You will need. There are two types of the card. There's one standard card that doesn't. If you don't have Prime, and then if you do have Prime, there's the Amazon Prime card. The Prime card is a little bit better. It's 5% cashback, 2% at gas stations, 1% on everything else, and then I believe the normal non-Prime card is 3% cashback on Amazon and like 3% at Whole Foods, and 1% on everything else. It's not that much worse or anything, but most people go ahead or already have Prime, so I would say just go ahead and keep with the Prime. But even if you decide not to want Prime anymore, it's still a good card. Also, if you're a student, you can get the your student Amazon account. I believe it's still 6 months free Prime. So, and then it's $7.50 a month after that. So, I mean, it's a really good deal, and you also get a good credit card. So, why not? Generally, once you get to this point, I mean, just wait like a year or two. You'll have a good credit score, 750 plus. I mean, that's a very, very good credit score. And then at that point, I mean, you're better than most of the population at that point. You get very good deals on cars and houses. Very, very good. And by good deals, I mean good interest rates, which is what we really want with the good credit score. And then you can, if you want to, you can start going into more advanced credit cards such as the Amex Gold or the Amex Platinum. But those are generally, if you spend a lot and their benefits are good for you, then go ahead. I mean, they are, they're good for some people, not good for others. If you really just want a good credit score, maybe don't bother with them. But if you do like those cards and what they offer, then go ahead and get them at this point. Generally, I mean, that's what I have to say about all that. I feel like that's a very good list of credit cards, and you can get a very good credit history and good cashback rewards from these cards. Yeah, those are all very good. To wrap this up, I just want to say, please use these cards responsibly. Do not spend more than what you have. It's very important that you do not do that. Basically, think of your credit line as an extension of your bank account and a way to use the cash back to get just an extra little bit of money back. Do not spend more than you have. It's very important. Otherwise, you'll start missing payments, and the 20%, 20+% APR will really bite you, and you'll get in very serious debt. But if you use these cards responsibly, they are an excellent way to build your credit score. They're an excellent way to get just a little bit of money back whenever you're making your everyday purchases. So yeah, good luck. Have a good time. See you later. Bye-bye. And all that jazz. All right, see ya.